Hello, Tar Heel Nation. Welcome to another episode of UNC Hoops Talk podcast. I'm your host, Dan DeWitt. And the season has started. We're 3 games in. We're 3-0. And that's what today is about. We're going to cover the first 3 games of the year. And obviously, we're going to preview the battle for Atlantis as far as the Tar Heels are concerned. We won't go through all of it, but just what the Tar Heels are concerned with. So welcome. I'm glad you're watching, whether it's live or on demand. And just a little disclaimer before we jump into everything, there is a live aspect to this show if you'd like to join it, especially this week. Pretty erratic on my times. Just had a newborn. I have a 2-year-old, so I have to work around their schedules a little bit. In fact, my newborn son, which was a month old 2 days ago, is trying to sleep here next to me. So if you hear something in the background or if I have to turn to the side, if you're watching the video aspect of this, that is why. Please forgive me, and let's jump into some hoops. If you do ever want to ask questions, of course live, you can do it on the Q&A app. You can do it on the Google Plus events page. Twitter, just use the hashtag UNC Hoops Talk, and I'll find it. You can use it on YouTube, just about anywhere, and I'll find it. You can even email me if you want to. If you want to do it, ahead of time, that's more than welcome. Send out feedbacks and suggestions, questions, comments, any of that. Love to get it up here on this show, and would love to have people join me as guests on the UNC Hoops Talk podcast. But enough babble from me. Let's jump in. We'll start with the review of the games, especially the first 2. Make it pretty quick, pretty standard pre-conference, non-conference games. Early on the season to kind of get into the roll of things. We start off with NC Central. Again, don't want to spend too much time on it. We won by 16, 76-60 if you haven't seen it. If you're watching this, you're probably a big enough Tar Heel fan to know that, and you probably even know a lot of the stats. But just a few things that stood out to me. A lot of guys in double-figure minutes. This game, pretty stagnant on offense for us. We only had 3 people double-figure scoring against. NC Central, solid team, give them their credit, but not on the same level as us. We were definitely stagnant offensively. You can give them some credit. They have 4 returning starters from a tournament team last year. They lost to the same team that we did in the tournament, Iowa State, last year. But we had Bryce with 12, Kennedy Meeks with 10, JP Tokoto with 10, and that's it for double-figure scoring. Justin Jackson's had 9. Marcus Page had 8. And then a few other guys, 5, 3, 4, 8, 7 in there. But really pretty stagnant for us. Then we had 2 3-pointers, which has been definitely a lot of talk for people. Kenny Meeks, 9 rebounds. Bryce Johnson, 8 rebounds. Justin, 5 rebounds. JP, 5 rebounds. Our assist to turnovers, which is 15 to 14. 15 is probably a little bit too much at the pace we normally play at. Probably wouldn't be too bad, but this was kind of a slowed down game. NC Central did do a decent job of slowing the game down and slowing us down. And then we had 14 turnovers to the 15 assists. Sorry, I think I was saying 15 turnovers. 14 turnovers, 15 assists. We did have 10 blocks, which is great to see. Kennedy 2, Bryce 2, Justin had 2, and then a few guys with 1 mixed in there. We had 8 steals. What was exciting to see, which really pumped me up, really like what I'm most excited about these first 3 games, is kind of the pressure that we're putting on defensively, and even full court pressure. Roy has always wanted to run. But he always hasn't really pressed a ton. We're not a Louisville, a VCU kind of team. We're pressed, and we're doing some run and jump half court. We've done some full court press, and really just putting the pressure on guys. And some of that is we have the big guys down low now to kind of erase some of those mistakes. We have the guards, the plethora of guards to get out and do it. We have the length with Justin Jackson, with JP Tokoto, those kind of things. So we have kind of the tools to do it, but I felt like we could have in the past a little bit too, and we didn't necessarily. So that really gets my blood going. That we're seeing that, and I love to see it. And I hope it, as we get better, as we get more efficient, that kind of stuff, we'll see even more of it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's kind of my biggest takeaway from all 3 of the first games. But That takes care of NC Central. It was kind of a blah game. We never really got it going. Never really in danger. At least I didn't feel like that. Rebounding. We got rebounded 49-30. We had 16 offensive rebounds, but they had 11 offensive rebounds. It was just kind of, like I said, just kind of a blah game. And we got through it. We got the win, and that's kind of what the guys were saying after is, hey, it's a win. It wasn't pretty, but I think they did kind of find their stroke, whatever you want to call it. They obviously worked on attacking the press in practice after that, because then we came back with Robert Morris. Probably not as strong a team as NC Central, but again, it is a team we should blow out, and we did. We beat them 103-59. They had a guy score 24. Other than that, their next highest guy had 9 and 6 and stuff. For us, we had Kennedy Meeks 21 points, 12 rebounds. Bryce Johnson 23 points, 8 rebounds. JP Tokudo only 5 points, had 10 assists to only 1 turnover, 2 yet. Justin Jackson 13 points. Marcus Page 15 points. Again, we had about 11 guys get double-figure minutes, just like the first game, which isn't realistic, but it's normal for Roy. That'll get dwindled down to 8, maybe 9 guys every once in a while, or with foul trouble maybe. Guys getting those extra minutes and getting double figures, but finding where guys are going to thrive, finding where guys are comfortable, those kind of things. Good to see. It was great to see us come out and take it to a team. We out rebounded them 49-31, so not a huge advantage. And 20 offensive rebounds, 13 for them. We only had 8 turnovers this game, which was obviously better than 14 in the first game. But along with that, we had 29 assists. That's pretty darn good. We had 40 field goals, and 29 of them had assists on them. So that's a pretty good ratio. We had 9 steals again. Again, that pressure defense got us running a little bit. Obviously, the big guys were efficient and effective. Bryce was 10 for 15. Kennedy was 6 for 7. Justin Jackson 6 for 10. Marcus Page 5 for 10. And so that's 4 of our 5 starters that shot over 50%, or at least 50% from the field. Kennedy Meeks 9 for 14 from the free throw line. And really, I didn't mention the NC Central game. We weren't real great. We were I think about 66% from the free throw line. We picked it up against Robert Morris. We were 75%, and that it doesn't matter who you're playing. Your free throws are free throws. Obviously, there's more pressure if it's a tight game late, but for those 2 games, we jumped almost 10% in our free throws. So hopefully we stay closer to that 75% range as a team than in the 60s. We hit 4 threes. Marcus had 3. Joel Berry had 1. But there are guys out there, attempting them, and we'll get to that with the Davidson game as well. JP attempted 1. Justin Jackson took 2. Theo Pinson, Nate Britt, and then a couple of the blue team, or whatever you want to call it, the walk-ons in that last crew, and in the last 4 to 5 minutes of cleanup time took a couple, but we were 4 for 16 from 3. Let's see, only 5 blocks this game, but again, JP Tokudo, like I said, the one guy that didn't shoot 50% or better from the field, he only had 5 points, but he only shot 3 times. He's 1 for 3. Now, we need him to be more aggressive to get to the, more slashing. I don't care about how many shots he takes, but he does need to drive to slash. And he can't just say, oh, I'm going to be an assist man or lead us in assists now. Just sit back. But they sat back in a zone similar to NC Central, but we were better at attacking it. They were a little bit shorter, and JP just kind of looked over top, found the right guys, and got us rolling. So again, don't want to spend a whole lot of time on those games. Davidson one was interesting. Obviously, more people have heard of Davidson, know more about Davidson. Another in-state school, usually a little bit better, and I would say they're a better mid-major, or whatever you want to say, than those other schools. Make the tournament more regularly, those kind of things. And we played a pretty good game. Roy was on record saying this was the best defensive game we've played. We only won by 18, but really they shot a lot of threes, made quite a few threes, and kind of just hung around. Again, watching this game, which was a little bit difficult, which if you don't live in North Carolina, you kind of found out. It was only on Time Warner, so had to find links to stream the game, and some of those were kind of slow and laggy and stuff like that. But I did watch most of the game, and they just kind of hung around and never felt like it was in jeopardy or they were going to come back. They got it down to maybe 8 or something a couple times, but pulled away, won by 18. A good win, especially like we were saying defensively. So again, we did cut it down, the minutes or the rotation. I believe it's 8 guys here that had double figures in minutes played, but 4 of our 5 starters in double figures, and Bryce was the only one not, mostly because he was in foul trouble a lot of the day, and he had 9. So we had Kennedy Meeks, 19 points, 12 rebounds. Marcus Page had 13 this game, hit 3 more threes. Bryce Johnson, like I said, 9 points, 7 rebounds. JP had 10 points this game, 7 rebounds, which is another thing he's got to get back to doing. He's such a great leaper, and can really use that offensively, but even defensively, getting rebounds. Still had 4 assists to 1 turnover. Justin Jackson, 18 points. One thing I'll say about Justin is I think he could do a better job rebounding. He had 3 defensive rebounds in this game. And I think it was the last game, Robert Morris, he had 0 rebounds total. For a 6'8", guard, really, he should be able to get more rebounds. I know he's leaking out, that kind of stuff, but there's no reason he can't get, 3 to 5 rebounds at least a game. We had 21 assists again, 9 turnovers, so our second game in a row under 10 turnovers. That's obviously much better. I don't know that we can really expect that, but we had 9 blocks again. 4 guys had 2. Isaiah Hicks had 2. Theo Pinson had 2. Bryce Johnson had 2, and Kennedy had 2. So it's not even one guy just kind of protecting the rim or anything like that. We're spreading it out. Only 4 steals this game. They were, again, a little more mature. They handled the pressure a little bit better. And talking of their threes, they shot 11 for 36 from 3. So 36 threes. It's not even that it's their percentage. It's, they made 11 threes. So it's 33 points right there out of their, what'd they score? 72. So nearly half their points off threes. We hit 6 of them, as I said. Marcus had 3, and then we kind of spread this. And this is what I think we kind of need to do. Justin Jackson hit 1, Nate Britt hit 1, Theo Pinson hit 1, Joel Berry took 1, JP took 2. And that's what needs to happen is, Marcus can get, 3 to, or 2 to 4 threes, if you want to say. And then we hit, 2 to 4 other guys that hit 1. And if we get 6 to 7, they just have to be that much more honest. And then the big guys are that much more efficient. And, Kennedy, it was a home game for him back in Charlotte, where he's from, just played phenomenal. And played 31 minutes is almost the most shocking thing to me is he's kind of getting used to that new body, I think. And if you've watched the games, you've seen him have a couple of steals, kind of a la James Michael McAdoo from last year, getting those steals at half and going down for a wide open dunk. And he said, I think 3 of those. So I don't know if they were all in the regulation games. Maybe it might have been exhibition games, but great to see that from him. And to play 31 minutes, he's the second highest on the team. Marcus Page had 33. And again, Bryce only played 15 because of foul trouble, but just love his new body. He's so much, he's efficient. He's being effective, and it's only been 3 games, so we got to hold off a little bit, make sure it's consistent, and he keeps it going. But great to see Kennedy Meeks there, and this was just a fun game to watch. A little frustrating with how many threes they continue to hit on us every year, but other than that, great team win for us. Great start to the season here. First game a little bit shaky, but picked it up against Robert Morris. Continued it with Davidson, and then we head into the battle for Atlantis, which is the other topic for this week. Tomorrow, Wednesday the 26th, we take on Butler at noon Eastern on ESPN2 to start off as the first game of the battle for Atlantis. We get to showcase what we have right from the get-go, and it should be a good tournament. Oklahoma, UCLA, the winner, well, winner or lose, we'll play one of those in the second round, I guess. I'm confident in saying the winner of that because I feel like we're going to win against Butler. And then the top half of the bracket, or the other half of the bracket, is Georgetown, Florida, UAB, and Wisconsin, with Wisconsin, UAB playing, and then Florida, Georgetown playing. So if you listen to a previous podcast where I predicted the season, I predicted we'd beat Butler and have to play Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is a solid team. We can't overlook them. I did predict that we'd win against them. Sorry about that. And then if we beat them, it's likely Wisconsin, possibly Florida. I guess you could say maybe Georgetown. I don't see UAB beating Wisconsin in the first round of it. But winding back, if or when we beat Butler, however you want to say it, we will play Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And that will be on, I want to say, ESPN. Yes. If we were to lose, we'd play Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Access TV. So to get the most exposure, obviously we want to keep winning anyway. And I think we will. Oklahoma, definitely going to be harder than a lot of people will expect, I think. But should be a good game. I think we should come out on top, but I wouldn't be totally surprised if we lost. But we should win it. And then if we do win on Friday, we'll play in the championship, obviously, at 4:30 Eastern on ESPN. If we were to lose that second round, we would play on ESPN at 2 p.m. Eastern on Friday. So it kind of winds up Butler. Solid team. Obviously, people know him for the Brad Stevens days and going to the Final Four 2 years in a row and almost beating Duke in the championship, just a half-court shot away. Bounced off the front of the rim. Not bitter, though. It's okay. But, not in the same place now. Still solid team, solid program. Their head coach is on a leave. I believe it's health reasons, medical leave. So they don't even have their head coach there. Again, we should be able to handle them. If for nothing else, obviously we have a better starting five and a deeper bench. Again, Oklahoma, that should be a good game. And then if we do play Wisconsin, which I almost hope we do, and the reason I would say it's probably Wisconsin over Florida right now, Florida is missing a few guys. They're going to be taking 6 scholarship players to Atlantis and playing 3 games in 3 days. Is going to be tough with just that many scholarship guys. Walk-on guys just aren't the same. They can play hard and all that stuff, but just not. They shouldn't match up with most people's scholarship guys, and especially ours, as deep as we are or can be this year. So I would expect to play Wisconsin in the championship game. That should be interesting. Not quite the slow it down Wisconsin that they used to be or have been. Definitely played a slower pace than us, but I would love to see them. They're number 3, I believe, in the country right now. We moved up to 5 with Kansas getting blown out by Kentucky. So I would like to see it. I wouldn't necessarily predict a win there. We can win, and we can lose. Obviously, there's no other option, but I could really see it going either way. I think in my prediction, I gave the loss to us and the win to either Florida, Wisconsin, whoever played. But it'll be interesting. We'll see. It should be a great 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of Tar Heel basketball. Thanksgiving break, sit back and watch some basketball. Get into the basketball season, and I know I'm into it. I was talking to a UNC fan, and they said something about a bowl, or they were saying something about a destination. I was like, how would we make it there? What's there? And they're like, oh, for football, bowl games. Like, I've moved on from football. It's basketball season for me through and through, and I'm loving it. So excited about this season and this team, and I just think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm ready to go, pumped up. But really, that covers what I wanted to cover this week. Obviously, next week I'll be back to recap and review the battle for Atlantis. That's all I got for you so far this week. Looks like there isn't any questions to be answered. Again, if you would like to ask questions ahead of time or at any point or live for the podcast, please do so. And I'll throw my info up there. If you want to connect with me on Twitter and haven't yet, it's just at AllTarHeelDan. On Google Plus, it's just my name, Dan DeWitt, DEWITT. You can definitely still email me, unchoopstalk@gmail.com. I appreciate, like I said before, feedback, comments, questions, suggestions, anything like that. On YouTube, you can always get the playback of the video. It's youtube.com/UNCHoopsTalk. And also I'm on iTunes with the podcast. If you just want the audio and take it with you, just go into iTunes, search UNC Hoops Talk, and you'll find it. Really, I mean, if you search UNC Hoops, you should be able to find it. A lot of ways to find it. But also, there is a blog, unchoopstalk.blogspot.com. If you have trouble with any of this, please just email me, hit me up on Twitter, whatever it is. But unchoopstalk.blogspot.com. I also put the video version up there. The audio is up there, but it'd be a little bit harder to take it with you there. I like to, I put up a lot of press conferences from Roy and the players up there, and a lot of things just related to UNC hoops, of course, as we're all enamored with. If you're here anyway, you should be. A couple other things on the blog, you would see it, but also if you've ever heard of Tag Board, it's a website that takes a hashtag and puts all the pictures, videos from all different social medias in one place. And I've registered UNC Live, So it's hashtag UNC Live. And so if you use Instagram, Vine, Twitter, obviously, Facebook, Google Plus, really any social media platform, put hashtag UNC Live, all one word, to the picture or the video, or even the update, and it goes up there, and we can see all the different pictures and stuff that people take and put on social media there. So I would encourage you, if you're at a game or if you're at home, take a picture of your setup, how you're watching the game, of your swag that you're wearing for the game, or whatever it is. Take a picture, put it up on Instagram, put it up on Twitter. Use the hashtag UNC Live. Put some vines up. Use hashtag UNC Live, and it all goes there. Speaking of Vine, this season I've kind of started putting up vines of some of the highlights of the games. The sick alley-oop dunk right at the end of the Davidson game by J.P. Tokrito from Justin Jackson has kind of blown up there. But check out my Vine. It's just AllTarHeelDan, same as the Twitter. Just go on Vine, search AllTarHeelDan, and you'll find me. Follow me there. Check out all those Vines. But and I've actually, speaking of hashtag UNC Live, forgotten to do that for some of those. And now that I think about it, I'm really kicking myself. So I'll start doing that as well. First of all, I want to say thankful that you're here, that you're listening, that you're watching, whatever it is. Like I said, there is a live aspect. If you want to watch it, let me know, and I'll notify you as I'm starting or before I'm going to start. And because it's not very consistent. I'd love to be consistent, but if any of you have kids, with newborn, with a 2-year-old even, it's very hard to do. So kind of have to work around that. But if you want to know, I can notify you ahead of time about that. But otherwise, the ways that you can support the show, and that I'd be so appreciative of, is subscribe on YouTube, like those videos if that's how you take in the show. iTunes, subscribe there. Leave a review. That's a big thing on iTunes. That we really need to get going. It helps, it helps us be more seen, helps more people find it, um, and get more UNC fans united together. So those are 2 free ways. However, if you're on iTunes doing it, please subscribe, leave a review. We'd really appreciate it if you take it in on YouTube, subscribe there, like the videos. Appreciate that. I'm hopefully soon going to get it up on Stitcher as well, if that's the podcast catcher that you use. I'll let you know as soon as it's up there. And then if you're still looking for more ways to support the show, patreon.com. It's Patreon, patreon.com. All the links description will be in the description of wherever you're finding this, on the blog or on YouTube or iTunes, all that stuff. The links are there. But Patreon is just a way that you can give more. You can give as little as $1 a month. It's just a month. It's not per episode or anything like that. You can give $1 a month, and it just helps cover the hosting for iTunes, and just hopefully can grow this thing, and all the money will be put right back in. But all that is just to kind of support this show and make it better each time. Love to get better audio, better video equipment, that kind of stuff. So any support, whether that's on YouTube, iTunes, or even on Patreon, or even if it's just commenting and sending in questions, stuff like that. I appreciate it. Love you guys. That's all I got for you. See you next week. Until next time, go Heels.